Hi, my name is Valerie Lassere Ross, and I'm founder and CEO of Empowering Visions. I remember the moment that I became an entrepreneur. It was the best day in my life. I can remember working for a company that only had very few employees. I was the only employee that was a salesperson out in the field. And by me being a salesperson out in the field, what I did is that I went and I got this account. It was a very, very extremely large account. Mind you now, I was only making $10 an hour, and I also made a commission, one commission check a month. That's all I got. After getting this account, I went into the office and I didn't get paid the full potential that I deserve off of this account. So I looked at my check and I said, hey, this isn't all of my money. She says, I'm so sorry, but I had to cut your commission out. I said, you cut my commission out? I said, I worked on that account for 2 years. How could you cut my commission out? So talking to her, I really realized that I wasn't going to get my money. So I got upset. I went home. When I got home, I sit in a chair. I looked down at a table, and on the table sat a book. The book read, Women Who Started Their Own Business with Little or No Money. I picked up the book, I read the book, and it inspired me. So the very next day, I got up, I went into one of my accounts. I had no idea that I was going to start my own business. I looked at him, I said, hey, this bathroom and break room is pretty messy, isn't it? He says, yeah. He says, Valerie, I'm so sorry, but we can't keep anybody back here to clean this bathroom and break room. He says, every time we put someone back here, they either quit or the insurance is so high for us. He says, so we try to keep it up ourselves. I told him, hey, look, listen, I can do it. I said, I have a company. We can come in here and we can clean your bathroom and break room area. He says, can you really? I said, yes, of course we can. He says, well, what do you think you'll charge? I looked around and I said, you know what? I'll charge you about $40. And he says, $40, is that all? I said, yeah, that's it. So what he did is that he put on these eye protectors and he went across the warehouse into the office. He says, Valerie said that she can clean our bathroom and break room area for $40. Carl said, are you serious? Only $40? Made me believe that I bid it way too low for the job. So he says, I'll tell you what you do. Tell her to bring in her insurance and her W-9 form tomorrow. And I want her to come and clean it at 1 o'clock. So I'm standing at the door and the first thing I'm thinking is, what is a W-9 form? What is an insurance? You know, mind you, this is a long time ago. What is a W-9 form? I never owned my own business. I didn't know. So I tried to hurry away from the door. He sees me going across the warehouse and he yells my name. He says, hey, Valerie. He says, your company's hired. He says, Carl wants you to start tomorrow. Can someone comes in tomorrow at 1 o'clock and clean the break room area? I said, of course we will. So he says, bring your insurance form and your W-9 with you. So I get into my car and I'm driving down the street. I'm like so excited that I started my own business. But then again, I just didn't know what a W-9 form was, and I didn't know that I had to have insurance. So I called my father. I'm like, Dad, I said, where do I get a W-9 form and some insurance from? He says, well, I tell you what. He says, call your car people, get your insurance from there. And he says, a W-9 form, just go to the library and pick one up. And the very next day, I get a bucket, put a couple of chemicals in it that was in the garage. I'm on my way to work. Lunchtime comes. I get into the car. I'm driving down the street. I'm putting on my jeans that I threw in there and my t-shirt. And I stop at a red light and this guy looks over at me. He's like, what's going on in that car? She said, you know, I didn't care. It didn't matter. I put my tennis shoes on. I walked into the building. He says, Valerie, he says, what are you doing here? I thought you was going to send somebody to clean this. And I looked at him. I said, you know what? I love you guys. I decided to clean it myself. He goes, We love you too, Valerie. And that was my story in becoming an entrepreneur. I got that building, the building next door to it. I wound up getting several other buildings. I hired my first employee. When I first started my business, I didn't have help. I didn't have much help at all. Over the 20 years of me being an entrepreneur, I've learned an awful lot. I've made some mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've corrected them. I've still continued to move on and still work my business. But by the tools that we have today and Empowering Vision, the knowledge that we have behind us, we can help you get there a lot faster. Empowering Visions help entrepreneurs start their own business, live life to the fullest, be your own boss.